Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Papa Bale and welcome to the channel. Uh, First of all, I want to explain what this is. This is a it powers itself, but it doesn't break the laws of physics. Okay? Each time it goes around, it gets a little bit slower because it's not generating. Well, we'll see what happens when I fill in these other 5 coils over here. This runs pretty smoothly. I made a circuit that makes more sense. See, we start here at the bridge rectifier, this yellow wire, and it goes to the coils, which are linked in a series circuit, energy flowing. So each time you add a coil, the voltage goes up. And then it wraps around with this blue wire at the other end, dumps into these capacitors, which are linked together, and then this links to the bridge rectifier, which completes the circuit. Now the way I had it before, we had, it was a series circuit, but we had 3 coils, and then they were linked to 2 capacitors, and then they were linked to the other 3 coils, and then those 2 free ends were linked to the bridge rectifier. And there was a lot less load, but I don't see, well, I see how that only 3 of those coils were actually linked to the capacitors. Well, I don't know. There's no polarity in these capacitors, so energy can flow either way unless you put a diode in to direct it. But here, let's give it a whirl here. And you can see it like what I call it falling into gear, because I spin it faster than the capacitors will let it spin for. So it drops into gear, and then the capacitors, with whatever juice they have left, and you know, these 6 coils here are continuously funneling, you know, electricity into these coils or into the capacitors. Maybe I should hook some diodes up and make sure that's really what's going on. But you see how it gets into this like mode, and it stays here for a while. But since it's getting slower, it's going to continuously get slower because you need speed to actually generate electricity from these coils. That's why I'm thinking, like, if we get the other 5 in, you need a little bit less speed and it'll go for a little bit longer. Now if the reed switch, if we could get it going, since I'm flicking it with my finger, I could see, I was wondering, like, if I did 11 south and 1 north, would the reed switch only be open, or closed, I mean, would the reed switch only be closed with that 1 north magnet? So that it would only trigger once, you know. Once a revolution. I think that would be great if that would work, because I need the other 11 magnets generating electricity for the capacitors. And then I think if you're doing 1 north and 11 south, you're going to get some negative voltage, which means you got to bridge rectify it, flip it to positive voltage. I think that's how it works. I think these little box things can reverse voltage. But, you know, I'm not exactly sure how all this works. I'm kind of feeling it as I go here. And it only works like this because of where I plugged in the blue wire of the reed switch, the negative of the reed switch. I plugged back into the bridge rectifier, which sends that energy, like the stuff that's supposed to go back to the power supply, goes here and through, as DC more directly than if I say clip it to the capacitor and introduce that flow here. There's a tremendous load when I clip this one to here. But if I get in close, you can kind of hear maybe a little tick. That's the reed switch closing. But I agree, like the less ticks that have to happen, like if I back it out to here, so you even get a little bit of light in the beginning there when you whip it really fast, but then it falls into play. But there's definitely a lot less ticks happening out there than there was up close. Can't really tell how much is going on, but there's definitely a lot less flashing with the light going on. There is some, which means it's happening. I think that's good to have it pulled back a little bit. Pull the reed switch back because it will allow the capacitors to, release charge slower. That's a perfect idea. And then if I get the other 5 coils hooked up, God knows, I need to generate a certain amount. I think it's 125 volts. If I can do 125 volts, 130 volts, let's say, then I'm charging 125 volts per tick, but I don't even know how to measure that. I got a multimeter right here, but I don't think it'll show me what I want to know. Anyway, I think this is great. Thank you very much. Peace out. Please subscribe. Have a great night. Bye now.